high school basketball prospect Mikey Williams, who signed a deal with Excel that is expected to generate millions for the student athlete.
Mikey Williams seemed destined for NBA greatness. Millions of fans, sponsorships lining up, all before finishing high school. Yet, a single night would flip his entire world upside down.
It changed everything.
Faith, God, I was stuck in a tough position, so I wasn't gonna get myself out of that. Neither was my lawyers or anybody.
9 felony charges, facing decades behind bars. His once limitless basketball future shattered in an instant. But how did America's brightest high school prodigy fall so hard so quickly? Let's dive into it. A story of meteoric success and devastating downfall. Few modern-day basketball tales encapsulate the dizzying highs and tragic lows quite like Mikey Williams. His path toward basketball stardom was paved early, grounded in a household where athletic dominance wasn't just encouraged, it was demanded. His father, Malin Williams, had shined at Sweetwater High School, while his mother, Cherise, stood out as both a catcher and outfielder during her collegiate softball years at Hampton University. This rare blend of athletic genes, matched with relentless discipline and determination, became the foundation for a future basketball phenomenon.
I got into basketball I probably started playing when I was like 4. My pops was a coach, so I was already around basketball.
At only 4 years old, Williams was already consumed by basketball. But it wasn't until middle school that the wider sports community took notice. A viral dunk clip during 7th grade thrust him into the national spotlight, sparking comparisons to a young LeBron James and building a social media empire that soon surpassed 3 million followers on Instagram alone.
I was young, I was probably in like 7th grade, 8th grade, so all I knew was basketball. Like, business didn't really exist to me yet, you feel me? So it all just happened really.
The surge in Williams' fame didn't happen by coincidence. It was a well-executed plan by his father, who saw beyond traditional basketball systems. At just 13 years old, Williams inked a historic nil deal with Street Ball Apparel Company, becoming the youngest athlete ever to sign such a contract, reportedly worth 6 figures. The partnership showcased how digital influence was reshaping sports, where fame could be monetized long before high school graduation.
And that, I didn't really know, a lot of stuff I was doing, I didn't know why I was doing it, but I was just doing it. He just telling me it's
When Williams entered Samuel High School in 2019, expectations reached unbelievable heights. Yet, even the boldest projections couldn't foresee the dominance that followed. As a freshman, he delivered astonishing numbers, averaging 29.9 points, 6.7 rebounds, for 0.9 assists, and 1.6 steals per game, leading San Ysidro to victory in the CIF San Diego Section Division III Championship. But one legendary night would forever cement his name in California high school basketball history. On December 13th, 2019, facing Montgomery High School.
That's sophomore year.
That was my freshman year.
Freshman year? Okay, freshman year.
Yeah.
To be that young with that many followers, was it hard for you?
Yeah, cause I didn't know what to do.
The NIL era's dawn found Williams perfect.
Williams erupted for a jaw-dropping 77 points, including 9 3-pointers in a 116-52 victory, obliterating San Diego County single-game scoring record that had stood at 71 points. This performance wasn't merely a statistical marvel. It became a full-blown cultural earthquake that rippled through the basketball world, permanently solidifying his place as a once-in-a-generation prodigy. Honors poured in relentlessly. Max Prep's National Freshman of the Year, CIF San Diego Section Player of the Year, and a coveted position on the All-State First Team. Recruiting analysts crowned him the #1 prospect in the class of 2023.
I think it's the situation that happened. I think it was situations that I've been in before that could have been not so good, because what happened is just God sat me down, you know what I'm saying?
With offers storming in from powerhouse programs like Kansas, Duke, and North Carolina. Yet Williams' ascent wasn't just about basketball numbers. It was about influence. His social media empire turned into a case study in athlete branding, as, over time, a major sports media outlet launched a YouTube reality series chronicling his life, skyrocketing his fame even further. The once camera-shy teenager had evolved into a full-scale content icon, mastering how to convert his athletic prowess into pop culture currency.
Didn't see Williams fire
firing a gun. The San Diego County Sheriff's Department says people were arguing about guests inside the house where Williams lived. No one was hurt in the shooting. Williams is out of custody on $50,000.
When the nil era officially began, Williams stood perfectly poised to ride the wave. In October 2021, at just 17 years old, he landed a multi-year deal with Puma, becoming one of the first high schoolers ever to secure such a brand partnership. His NIL valuation ballooned between $3.6 to $6 million, spanning NFT collections, NBA 2K22 commercials, and collaborations with brands like Lace Clips and Cash App. Celebrity recognition followed rapidly. LeBron James publicly applauded his talent. Kevin Durant dubbed him a must-watch, and Drake even showcased him in music videos and Instagram posts. The same kid whose fame began with viral 7th grade dunks was now mingling with A-list celebrities.
I feel like the people around me were more like scared. Like my pops would call me and he'll be, you feel me, stressing and whoop because he done been through it, you feel me? He didn't had to go through the same thing, and it's like he don't want you, like obviously he don't want me.
Living a dream lifestyle even pros envy. College recruitment became more of a celebration than a contest. In November 2022, Williams committed to Memphis, choosing to play under Penny Hardaway, drawn by the school's NBA legacy and Hardaway's iconic reputation. At his absolute peak, analysts projected him as a top 5 NBA draft pick, envisioning a high-scoring guard with superstar potential. But as Williams' stardom skyrocketed, the darker sides of Premature fame began to surface. The young phenom who once ruled both social media and the court was about to learn that when your success stands on unstable ground, collapse can strike fast and brutally. The first fractures didn't show up during games, but rather in the silence between them.
It was like I was in the gym every day, and then once I started going through what I was going through, like at Memphis, like the AD was tripping on me. He wouldn't let me in. I went back home, and I was like, man, it was about August or something. I just went back to the crib, and I was like, I started like going to the gym maybe twice a week, because that wasn't the main thing on my mind. It just one day it hit.
Moments when there were no fans, no flashes, no noise. Reflecting later, Williams admitted that trouble had already been brewing. There were situations before that could have gone bad, he confessed, acknowledging he had messed up a few times just being young. Interview 551, 607. The red flags were there for those who cared to notice. Scouting reports before his arrest flagged inconsistent effort, negative entourage influence, and growing distractions, suggesting the eventual shooting incident wasn't a one-off, but part of a deeper pattern. Then came March 27th, 2023, the day that split Mikey Williams' story into before and after. At his $1.2 million residence in Jamacha, east of San Diego, what should have been a quiet Tuesday night that spiraled into a nightmare, derailing one of basketball's brightest young careers and standing as a chilling testament to how swiftly fame can mutate into infamy. Around midnight, an argument reportedly broke out with a group of uninvited guests who had shown up at Williams' property. Accounts indicate the confrontation escalated rapidly. As the visitors tried leaving in a Tesla Model 3 carrying 5 passengers, gunfire erupted.
Actually, Kennedy, he told us not to deactivate our Instagrams, all that, yeah. Because I don't be liking to be on there, for real.
You be deactivating yours?
Yeah, I didn't deactivate them a few times for like months.
Multiple rounds struck the car, though miraculously, no one was injured. The same teenager who had built a reputation for poise, focus, and discipline both on the court and online now found himself accused of losing control in the most catastrophic way imaginable. This single event marked the start of a legal storm that would consume nearly 18 months of his life, transforming Mikey Williams from basketball prodigy into a cautionary headline overnight. The fallout from that March evening played out like a slow-motion legal thriller, each chapter further tarnishing the image he'd so carefully curated. On April 13th, 2023, Williams was arrested by the San Diego County Sheriff's Department, initially hit with 6 felony charges that threatened to extinguish his athletic future before it even ignited. The original charges painted a grim picture. 3 counts of assault with a semi-automatic firearm, 1 count of criminal threats, and 2 counts of shooting at an occupied vehicle. Each assault count alone carried up to 9 years, meaning he faced the haunting reality of spending his prime athletic years behind prison bars instead of basketball arenas. The The basketball community responded with a mix of disbelief, sorrow, and frustration. Social media exploded. Major pages like Bleacher Report pulled in over 32,000 likes on coverage of the incident.
God, I'm stuck in a tough position, so I wasn't gonna get myself out of that. Neither was my lawyers or anybody else. It was really God. I just had to stay down because it didn't really hit me at first. You feel me? It hit me like a little minute into my little situation. It hit me, and then, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's...
As fans try to process how someone had watched grow up before their eyes could fall so hard, so fast. Analysts compared the situation to Ja Morant's infamous gun controversy, dubbing it the Ja Morant effect, and expressing growing concern over a troubling pattern among young black athletes navigating sudden fame. Memphis coach Penny Hardaway, who had once championed Williams' recruitment, issued a cautious statement. "We are aware of the situation and currently gathering more information." Privately, however, Hardaway faced the sobering possibility that his top recruit might never wear a Memphis jersey. The legal process dragged on painfully. Each hearing tightened the grip of uncertainty. Williams pleaded not guilty to all charges, but prosecutors kept pushing forward. In October 2023, during a pivotal preliminary hearing, new evidence surfaced, further jeopardizing his case. Judge Sherry M. Thompson Taylor ruled there was enough proof to move forward a trial, granting prosecutors a chance to stack on 3 additional felonies, raising the total count to 9. These new charges included extra counts of criminal threats and grand theft auto, escalating his potential sentence to over 30 years behind bars if convicted on all counts. Interview 928-943. The crushing weight of the courtroom battle soon began eroding not only Williams' resolve, but also that of his family and inner circle. In later interviews, he described the surreal experience of sitting inside courtroom benches, forced to watch attorneys argue over his fate, while he sat motionless, a spectator to his own downfall, unable to shape the narrative unfolding before him. Interview 956-1010. Meanwhile, the commercial consequences of Williams' legal crisis began to strike with brutal precision. Puma, the brand that had once inked him to a headline-grabbing multi-year deal, officially cut ties, citing ongoing legal complications as the reason for terminating the contract. Shortly after, Lace Clips, a prominent sports technology company, followed in May 2023, with CEO Jonathan Nussbaum stating bluntly that Williams was not someone we will associate our brand with. The financial implosion was swift and total. His NIL valuation, which had once peaked near $3.6 million, collapsed as sponsors fled from the growing scandal. The same teenager who was once on track to become one of the wealthiest amateur athletes in history now stood stripped of every major partnership that had shaped his public identity. At Memphis, the situation deteriorated just as fast. Williams was indefinitely suspended from all team activities immediately following his arrest, forcing him into a de facto redshirt year without ever logging a single minute of collegiate basketball. The athletic department, cautious about protecting the university's reputation and maintaining NCAA compliance, kept a deliberate distance from their once prized recruit. Interview 1117-1143. The isolation that followed may have been the most punishing aspect of Williams' ordeal. A young man who had once thrived off roaring crowds and social validation suddenly found himself cut off from the world that had once adored him. Basketball, once a sanctuary, became a constant, painful reminder of all he stood to lose. The emotional strain showed. His public sightings grew scarce, and his social media presence nearly vanished. Williams admitted later that he had deactivated his Instagram account multiple times for months at a stretch, overwhelmed by a cocktail of anxiety, legal pressure, and online judgment. The same confident teenager who once commanded millions of fans now struggled with even the simplest act of appearing in public. Interview 1222-1234. As the court proceedings dragged deep into the summer and fall of 2023, Williams found himself stuck in a professional purgatory that few athletes could ever imagine. Too young to play professionally overseas, banned from college ball, and staring down potential prison time. He watched helplessly as peers like Jared McCain and Rob Dillingham continued their meteoric climbs, while his own career hung frozen in legal limbo. Then came November 30th, 2023, the pivotal plea hearing that would define the next chapter of his life. The road to that day had been filled with relentless uncertainty and the haunting thought that his basketball dreams might be over before they even began. The long, brutal road back. The November 30th, 2023 plea hearing marked both an end and a beginning for Mikey Williams. Williams, the end of his most dangerous legal ordeal and the fragile beginning of what many believed was an impossible comeback. Williams reached a plea agreement with prosecutors, admitting guilt to one felony count of making criminal threats under California Penal Code Section 422, while the remaining 8 gun-related charges were dismissed as part of the deal. The terms of the agreement underscored both the gravity of his earlier actions and a lingering belief in his potential for redemption. Williams was ordered to complete anger management, cognitive behavioral therapy, gun safety training, and 80 hours of community service, with a condition that full compliance could lead to the felony being downgraded to a misdemeanor at sentencing. Interview 1358, 1421. The basketball world reacted to the plea deal with relief and optimism. Many saw it as a rare second chance for a young athlete who had made a life-altering mistake. Social media buzzed with hopeful posts, including Jam John's viral 3-1 deficit meme, which earned 17,000 likes, framing Williams' legal resolution as a comeback story rather than a collapse. Determined to prove himself, Williams tackled his obligations with renewed focus. By the time of his August 12, 2024 sentencing, he had not only completed every mandated program, but also exceeded expectations, performing far beyond his 80-hour service requirement through extensive volunteering with youth initiatives, showing authentic personal growth. Judge Thompson Taylor, presiding virtually from Florida, officially reduced his felony to a misdemeanor and sentenced Williams to 1 year of summary probation. The ruling included a 10-year firearm possession restriction, but crucially, no jail time. This outcome finally cleared a path for Williams to begin rebuilding his basketball journey. Yet, the environment he returned to was dramatically altered. By January 2024, before the court's final ruling, he had already entered the transfer portal from Memphis, citing frustration over the program's hesitance to reintegrate him amid the ongoing case. Interview 1535, 1547. His March 2024 commitment to University of Central Florida, UCF, marked his official return to college basketball, albeit under far humbler circumstances. Coach Johnny Dawkins, who championed second chances, welcomed Williams into the Big 12 Conference lineup, emphasizing growth over glory. The 2024-25 season at UCF offered Williams his long-awaited collegiate debut. The numbers told a modest but meaningful story. Across 18 games with 5 starts, he averaged 5.1 points, 1.9 rebounds, and 0.7 assists in 14 minutes per game, shooting 37.1% from the floor. Though far from his high school dominance, these stats symbolize something more profound. Proof that his basketball dream wasn't dead, merely reborn. Interview 1633, 1651. The psychological and emotional climb of Williams' comeback proved every bit as grueling as his legal and athletic battles. In multiple interviews, he spoke with rare honesty about the reality of falling from projected lottery pick to a bench contributor, describing the patience, humility, and discipline needed to rebuild a career once written in the stars for instant NBA glory. Interview 1708, 1720. Though flashes of his old brilliance still appeared, including season highs of 14 points against Iowa State and Oklahoma State, Williams struggled with rhythm, conditioning, and consistency after such a long hiatus. Injuries compounded the challenge, sidelining him for 19 games throughout the season and interrupting his attempts to rediscover his competitive flow. By March 2025, Williams once again entered the transfer portal, seeking a clean slate and more opportunity to reignite his basketball potential. His April 2025 commitment to Sacramento State became another crucial chapter in his evolving redemption arc. Under head coach Mike Bibby, a former NBA All-Star and 2008 Olympic gold medalist, and with Shaquille O'Neal serving as president of basketball operations, the program offered Williams something he hadn't experienced since his fall, a true chance at rebirth. This was more than just another roster move. It was a genuine shot at healing, growing, and redefining his narrative in an environment centered on his future, not his past. Interview 1815, 1828. By September 2025, Williams, now 21 years old, stood at a crossroads that would have been unimaginable at the height of his teenage fame, preparing for what could become a pivotal sophomore season at Sacramento State. He faced the monumental task of proving that the young prodigy once destined for the NBA still had the resilience to make it, even if his path had twisted in unexpected ways. The man who now spoke with quiet wisdom about faith, patience, and growth bore little resemblance to the social media prodigy who once electrified gymnasiums across America. His story had evolved into something larger, both a warning and an inspiration, a testament to how swiftly success can fade, but also how redemption remains possible for those who dare to rebuild from the ashes. Interview 1911-1919. Williams' transformation from basketball prodigy to legal defendant to determined college athlete encapsulates the complex landscape of modern youth sports, where social media fame, nil money, and the spotlight of premature celebrity create as many traps as they do opportunities. His journey remains unfinished, but its message rings clear. In basketball, just as in life, it's never about how you start. It's about how you finish. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, click on one of the boxes on your screen to explore more content like this.